Hello folks, today is Friday, March 7th, 2025. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. We got a lot, so just jumping right into it. Check this out. This game looks visually stunning. If it wasn't on your radar before, it should now, thanks to a new trailer. This is a game called Hell Is Us. We've talked about it in the past, but it just got a new trailer detailing all the exploration gameplay. So we've seen some gameplay for this before. The official reveal was really cool. It's very much like a Death Stranding meets Control meets, I don't know, almost like a Souls-like game, but also like some horror aspects. Just a really cool melding of genres. Good sci-fi here. We got a trailer breaking down the combat and all that, but this new trailer specifically highlights exploration and investigations, which devs have talked about how it's not going to hold your hand. You're not just getting a bunch of map markers and saying, okay, go do this. It's more about learning your environments, talking, figuring things out. But what really stunned me with this trailer is the environment design, the visuals here. It looks really vast in a lot of areas, but also the towns and the town detail is really, really cool. We know this is from a studio made of a lot of veteran developers. This is a newer studio to make this game. It's also, the main character is voiced by Elias Tefexis, the guy who was Adam Jensen from the modern Deus Ex games. I just think it sounds potentially really, really cool. It does look like the combat's going to be pretty challenging, but like the world building, the exploration, the sci-fi elements, and just being like a cool dude in a poncho, I don't know. That just appeals to me. As of right now, it has a release date for September 4th of this year for PC and PS5. I don't know, it could get delayed. Everything gets delayed. I don't know if you've been following gaming news for a while. September is actually really far away from now in this type of world, and things could happen and it could still get delayed. But as of right now, I'm keeping my eye on this one. Right now, it's like Hell Is Us and also Atom Fall, which is dropping at the end of this month. It did get a lot of previews today, and it seems like folks are pretty positive on it. So, keep some stuff on your radar. We got actually a lot of new game announcements and stuff to talk about this week. But first, we should move over to more negative news. So Ubisoft apparently was working on a Far Cry spin-off extraction shooter. And unfortunately, this thing has been rebooted. Apparently, this project has been in the works, according to Insider Gaming, if you want to read it, it's linked below. Apparently, this has been worked on for quite some time. It was actually like spun off of what was going to be a Far Cry 7 multiplayer thing. Now they kind of made it a standalone thing, but it seems like they're still just trying to figure it out. In the linked report, you should check it out. There are some juicy details, and it definitely highlights some significant changes potentially for whatever the next Far Cry game will be. Far Cry 6 kind of played some things a little safe, so it's definitely worth looking into. It was codenamed Maverick. I honestly don't think we need any more extraction-based multiplayer shooters, if you ask me, but hey, it seems like Ubisoft has been incubating a lot of projects for a while now and just trying to see what sticks. We've talked about, Ubisoft's troubles recently and how they have a lot betting on Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is releasing soon. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. The future of Far Cry, though, I don't know what the deal is, but apparently there's a Far Cry 7 coming, and also maybe a spin-off multiplayer extraction shooter thing. Their moves are so strange to me. Like I said, they're just trying a bunch of things, but this year they also canceled a Division spin-off. So I don't know what to think anymore. I just wait for things to come out and see what happens. And speaking of that type of thing, Respawn also seems like a studio that very much spends time incubating different projects and stuff, and a new report suggests that they did cancel another internal project that was a unannounced multiplayer first-person shooter game. Now, there's no indication of how far along this was. Respawn is famous for actually canceling a lot of projects in the past, just stuff that never saw the light of day. There was a Star Wars first-person shooter. I don't know. This could have been anything. A lot of people were like, oh no, was this Titanfall 3? I don't know. To me, it sounds like in so many reports that a Titanfall 3 was already canceled so many other times ago, if that was ever even barely a thing. This could be a new Apex Legends spinoff. It could be literally anything. At this point, I look at it with Respawn, they probably have a bunch of money still rolling in from Apex Legends, so they have the time to invest in teams to kind of work on small experimental projects like this first-person shooter. But I don't know. We actually don't quite know what is next from Respawn, so I'm looking forward to finding out. Oh, now next up is the Tony Hawk news. I am the resident Tony Hawk person here at gameranx. I've been playing from the beginning. I have very strong opinions about the series, so thank you guys who've tagged me on social media and stuff, sending me the news. I'm locked into the news all day. You don't ever have to send it to me, but I appreciate it. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is official. It's releasing July of this year. There's going to be like pre-order bonuses. You're going to be able to play as a Doom guy and stuff like that. It's kind of a similar deal as the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 re-release, which I absolutely loved. I think they cracked the code. The gameplay was perfect. The content offering was good. Here, it's going to be similar with like new skaters, new music, old music, but also old levels and new levels, which I'm very excited to see. The negative news coming out about this is that it is being developed by Iron Galaxy, who have had some issues with PC ports. They've been a support studio. They've made some of their own games. They made like Rumbleverse and Dive Kick and stuff like that. But they were also the people behind the Arkham Knight PC release, which was like a legendary mishap. Also, as of right now, according to VGC, it seems like Bam Margera is not in the game. We know who's in the game, new and old skaters, and Bam Margera is not on that list, which not happy about that. That being said, recently, Tony Hawk and Bam Margera did hang out. There was Instagram posts and stuff like that, so maybe he'll be in the game. Things could change, who knows, but also, the biggest thing is that it has now been confirmed by Activision and by a PlayStation blog that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is getting shooken up. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 was actually structured, specifically like the PlayStation 2 version, was structured around open environments that you were able to freely skate around and select missions. Like you would click on a guy and he would give you a mission of find the letters of skate or do this thing. So now they've said that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is actually going to be structured more like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, and 3. Just 2-minute rounds, meaning this career mode structure is not in the game, leading to a lot of people being disappointed. Me, I'm a little torn because some of that stuff was shitty. Some of the career mode missions were not good, but some were incredibly memorable and silly and awesome. And also the pacing of just riding around at your own pace and taking missions, I think still was overall better. Some people are saying that they're not going to get the game now. Me personally, I don't know. I've been through this before as a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater fan from the beginning. I've had some stinkers. I've played them all. They're all my children. I love them all. But here with this, I'm wishy-washy on it. I'm still going to try it, but I just hope ultimately with the career mode thing, and I did a whole video on my channel like going more in depth on this, but ultimately I hope the career mode, the lack of career mode doesn't mean that they're like skirting around, putting the work into like, you know, remake or remaster some of the original good stuff in the game. I hope we just don't lose out on content. This stuff can be condensed possibly to a 2-minute round mode, even though some of the levels are kind of big. I just hope that we don't lose out. I will be the jury on that. Of course, I'll like cover the game when it releases, but for now, it's releasing in July. I'm still excited because I love playing Tony Hawk. It's the only game I'm good at, so we'll just have to wait and see. Shout out to the people in comments who have been nice to me, like being like, "No, Jake, you're good at games." No, have you watched my before you buy videos? You've seen the gameplay. You know I suck ass. Anyway, let's move on. Now, before we keep going, look, there's a good chance if you're watching this video, you're probably like me. You're online all the time. Browsing, shopping, gaming, communicating, doing whatever. And the reality is the internet isn't always safe from like malware, phishing attacks, password attacks, malvertising, ransomware, you name it. There's so much stuff out there, so much that can go wrong, and it's good to be protected. And that's where the sponsor of this video, NordVPN, comes in. Whether you're out maybe browsing on public Wi-Fi on your phone, or you're at home using your own internet, using NordVPN is simple. You switch it on and then you're protected. And all your data stays safe behind a wall of next generation encryption. They have tons of VPN servers all around the world, so you have choice, and NordVPN offers threat protection. You just switch this on and then your device is protected from malicious sites, downloads and trackers, and intrusive ads, and just bad stuff that can pop up. Look, you probably read headlines or you hear about news about data breaches, security breaches, and maybe you just fly too close to the sun, click on things you don't know where they're gonna lead. It is best to be protected, and NordVPN offers a ton of features, stuff I don't even have time to include here. But whether it's your phone, laptop, PC, it's simple to set up on all your devices. You don't have to be a computer genius for this, so if you do want to check it out, every purchase of a 2-year NordVPN plan will receive an exclusive bonus plus 4 additional bonus months free. All you gotta do is head to nordvpn.com/gameranx or click the link in the description down below. Again, that is for a huge discount plus 4 additional bonus months at nordvpn.com/gameranx. And big thanks to them for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the news. Next up, a small update. Some people have been looking, me personally have been looking for an update on Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. This is that big, flashy, cinematic-looking Unreal Engine 5 game with a Black Panther and Captain America behind enemy lines in World War II. As a big Captain America comic book fan, this is like my dream game come true. It's also like Amy Hennig is working on it, the person behind Soul Reaver, and also, of course, the Uncharted games. So right now, we haven't heard anything for quite some time since this was announced. But the actor behind Black Panther in this game did do an interview and suggest that it's coming holiday 2025. Kari Payton was speaking to The Direct and said, and I quote, "We're still working. We're planning on 2025. We're thinking like a Christmas situation." So that's not an official confirmation, and an actor is only involved in so much of the process of a game, of course, but I'm hoping he's right, because I want to see what the hell this game really is. Because to be totally frank, as cool as I think it is, from what we've seen so far, it kind of just looks like a cutscene. Next up, we got a new segment called Stuff I Just Didn't See Coming. We got a couple of things to talk about. The first is the announcement of a new Styx game. This is Styx Shards of Dark. What is it called? Jesus. Blades. Sorry. Generic video game title. Styx Blades of Greed. This is a new Styx game. I think this is a win. I've kind of been a little nitpicky on this series, and it hasn't really clicked with me like it has with some other hardcore, like old school stealth fans. I don't know. They've always been a little busted, but I still think it's good that they exist, and this new one is apparently coming this year, fall 2025. I just didn't see that coming. Also, Robocop Unfinished Business. This is coming summer 2025, and this is like a standalone expansion to Robocop Rogue City. It's going to feature like both like Alex Murphy as a cop before he was Robocop, where you're going to be able to play as him just doing stuff. But also, it looks like a situation where Robocop is kind of in like a the Raid type thing, or a Dread type thing, where it's just you going into a big tall apartment building filled with bad guys. That's a good concept. I'm all on board for that. I absolutely loved Robocop Rogue City. They totally nailed the feel of the classic stuff. So now that they're just going a little wild with it with a cool expansion, I'm excited to see what they got. Also, one more thing I didn't see coming, just because of a lot of controversy and a lot of like behind the scenes, back and forth legal stuff with the original game, we're getting a sequel to The Sinking City. The Sinking City 2 got a trailer with like little glimpses of gameplay, a real good tease, more Lovecraftian elements, rainy noir stuff. Apparently this is coming from Frogwares, but no release date or anything like that. So those are 3 back-to-back game announcements I just really didn't expect. As much as studios are closing and things are getting canceled, I'm happy that we're still getting new game announcements. Oh, also, this just breaking news, but The Killing Floor 3 has been delayed. The developers apparently saw the feedback from, what was it, like a beta or an alpha, and they're responding to that by pushing the game. It was actually supposed to release at the end of March, but apparently this feedback was serious enough that they went back to the drawing board, and it's releasing later in 2025. We don't have an official date yet, but I'm glad they listened, and they're going to work on the feedback, because that seems like that's key sometimes, and that can make or break a game. So good move, Killing Floor 3. Next up, some trailers, some videos you should check that are linked in the description down below with everything. The first is a gameplay trailer for The Occultist. This got a flashy reveal trailer, but no gameplay. Now we see some gameplay, and it is very much a first-person horror investigation experience. It seems like right now this is going to be the closest we'll get to like a John Constantine Hellblazer style game. So cool. Unfortunately, though, it was slated for 2025, but now we know it's delayed to 2026. Also, in terms of games releasing this week, Split Fiction is now out. I did the before you buy for this, and I really enjoyed it. The story, it didn't really, and characters and stuff didn't quite land as good as their previous great game, It Takes Two, but the gameplay here is really fun, really intense, and there's some creative stuff in here that I have literally never seen in any other video game. So yeah, I highly recommend it if you have a co-op person to play through. This is definitely worth it. Also, we got more Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay, like 20 minutes worth, a little bit more of a deep dive, highlighting the different characters and different play styles and stuff like that in a snowy setting. So if you're still curious, they've shown so much gameplay at this point, but if your mind still isn't made up, you want to check that out. That's linked below. Also, earlier this week, it was announced that Acclaim is returning. The classic video game publisher that closed its doors in the early 2000s is being revived. Obviously, it's not the same exact thing. It's more of like an Atari, like how new Atari isn't old Atari type thing. But the name is back with some people behind it. Some key people in the gaming world, kind of more the indie side, but also the entertainment world. And Acclaim is historic. They were from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. They were always just around. They were just part of the the video game lexicon. And they were behind things like NBA Jam, the console versions of the Mortal Kombat games, and they worked on all kinds of things, all kinds of cool games up until BMX XXX. That was pretty much their last big whiff. So now they're back. Apparently they are working on both funding, helping produce, sort out new games, but also reviving classic franchises. We don't know what yet, but if these can kind of exist in the AA space, I think that's good. I like those types of games. Oh, also this week, Gears of War collection rumors have been floating around. The newest leak, the newest rumors suggest that a Gears of War collection is coming this year. People, of course, for years now have been begging for like a remaster, re-release of the original core 3 games. Of course, we got it for Gears of War 1, but that was really ever it. I think Gears of War 2 is like the best, so this would be really cool to see if it is true. Jez Corden, the Windows Insider guy who gets a lot of stuff, a lot of Xbox scoops, say that the jury's still kind of out on this one in terms of like information and what is true, because there was a lot of speculation around the multiplayer. The first rumor suggests that it was going to ship without multiplayer at all, which is an absolute bummer. At the very least, Horde mode should be included. Gears of War 2 Horde mode, I have really fond memories of. It was really, really well done. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. None of this stuff is official or confirmed or anything like that, but that's the news for now. But that's the gaming news this week. I gotta get back to work. There's some before you buys and stuff to cook up. So thank you for getting caught up on the news. I definitely want to know what you guys are thinking here in terms of Hell Is Us. What do you think about that gameplay? Too good to be true? Is it right up your alley? Let's talk. Also, Far Cry extraction shooter thing. Is that something you care about? Also, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4. Are you like me, excited, but are you hung up on the changes to Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4? I certainly have questions, so let me know. Let me know if you love Bam Margera as much as I do. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about all the games announced, the games delayed, down in the comments. Hit me up. Of course, you can always find me on my other YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jake Baldino. Find me on social media. Just look up my name. But thank you for getting caught up on the news here, man. We're here every week for you guys. So clicking the like button is all you got to do. It really helps us out. We definitely appreciate that. But that's it. I'm Jake Baldino. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Pizza's on me. I really need coffee. I was like slurring my words because I need caffeine. Excuse me.